Yo, 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 it's your homeboy Kiiro in the building. Welcome to episode 142 of One Piece Gist. In this episode, I'm going to be doing my chapter predictions for One Piece chapter 801. Greatness returns. Yes, it is I, Kiiro. I am back from my hiatus, and I'll just, how to say it? Do a bit of a catch up, and then after that I'm gonna get into my predictions for chapter 801. So how you guys been? It's been a long time. Basically, I do not like going on breaks. If I go on a break, I want it to be 1 or 2 weeks, and that's it. And if I'm gonna take frequent breaks, I'd rather just not upload at all, because then I'm gonna get my subs false hope that I'm gonna upload a video, and stuff like that. So I'd rather take a long break and come back when I think I can upload videos consistently, or at least regularly, which is now. I think I will be able to upload videos regularly. If not, I'll let you guys know, and I'll have to go on another hiatus. But so far, I think things will be fine. Since I left off, I was going to do a separate video about the catch up, but not that much has happened, to be honest. So since I last did a chapter review, we've had the Doflamingo versus Luffy fight. It's come to a conclusion. And Oda's basically been dragging this Dressrosa arc, quite a lot. And that's to show you just how slow he is that I took such a massive break and was still in Dressrosa, The best thing that's happened since during the break has definitely has to be One Piece chapter 795. I might be butchering the number, but I think I'm correct, and that is the Kaido reveal. That chapter has been the best thing that's happened to One Piece during my absence. I was just literally grinning like a fool when I read the last page. I actually didn't think it was Kaido. Like I didn't look at the raws. I saw the chapter as it came out, and I've been absent from Facebook groups, ever since I had my hiatus, because I'm not uploading any videos. So why am I in these groups? Just clogging up my Facebook feed and shit. So yeah, that was just a ridiculous chapter. I was like, who is this dude? Like, whoever it is, I'm liking him. And then I was like, because I thought it was just some random character, maybe Green Bull or something, but then it was Kaido, and I was just, my mind was blown. I'm not, I'm no King Recon, I can't really do the live reactions, but I was definitely hype. But here's my issue. I think, or I would have preferred, if Oda made that chapter 795, if he made that chapter 800 or 801 instead. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that Oda teased us with that and followed up with some Dressrosa garbage, Luffy versus Fujitora, which is a half-ass garbage fight, some more Dressrosa nonsense. Okay, Luffy's getting a pirate, crew, which is cool. I mean, he has fleets now and all that. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But did it need 2 chapters? Okay, maybe it did need 2 chapters, but it's really not the fact that it needed 2 chapters. I'm happy that Oda took his time to do it correctly rather than rush it, but I do not appreciate the tease, with the whole Kaido reveal, and then we jump back to Dressrosa. That was just god awful. And to top that off, we also had Luffy versus Fujitora, which was another stalling tactic, because that was never a serious fight. If Oda wanted, he could just continue the whole dice roll shenanigan, and we'd have gone back to the Kaido stuff by now. But Oda had other plans. He wanted the whole chapter 800 to be Luffy getting his pirate fleet, which I'm cool with. Again, it's the fact that he teased us with something so good and then dragged us back down to Dressrosa level of stuff, like in comparison to what had been happening before, because the Doflamingo versus Luffy fight, I'm not a big fan of it, and in comparison to that, Luffy getting pirate fleet was definitely really cool. And another thing I liked about the pirate fleet thing is, I've said it from day one, Luffy's not getting any new Nakama. I thought maybe Kairos, but then I saw how garbage Kairos, that when I saw him fight Diamante, I was like, he's not that good. He's like 3 times good Zoro, if not worse. He's not that good. He's not good enough to be a Straw Hat. It was between him and really just him, because Hakuba and Bartolomeo, you can say they are this strong, they are that strong. At the end of the day, they're in a completely different generation. I just didn't see them. Especially Bartolomeo, because I think Bartolomeo will be way too annoying because of his whole Fangasm thing. I don't mind him being in every arc. In fact, no, I actually might, but we'll see what happens. Like, I like Bartolomeo, but I think his joke might, Oda might overdo it, kind of like the whole Brook thing. Like, Brook, his humor is dying out, pun intended. Yeah, things like that. But anyways, I've said since day one, nobody's joining the Straw Hats. Law and Luffy gonna be in an alliance, but I definitely didn't expect the fleet thing. I expected allies from the gladiators, but definitely not that they would go as far as being Luffy's front man of his pirate fleet, which is cool. And yeah, that's pretty much the catch up. Like I said, not much has happened, just a bunch of garbage, and Oda stalling. Oda has to take an L for that, but whatever. We got Kaido coming up. The hype is real. Oh, and of course we had the Sabo chapter, which was cool. I can't really downplay that, but nothing really surprised me other than Sabo losing his memory. But it does make sense. People who drown actually do get brain damage. Basically, it's not just drowning, but basically anyone who loses a certain amount of oxygen. So if you're choked, you can get brain damage, and it's usually permanent or usually really serious. So Sabo was lucky that he's not a fucking retard or nothing. Anyways, that's pretty much the catch up, and I've explained to you guys why I took such a long hiatus. It's not that I couldn't upload videos, but that I couldn't upload them consistently or regularly, and there's no point. I don't like teasing people or giving them false hope that I'm going to upload, that they can expect a Kiiro Sage video, this week or the week after, stuff like that. So I'd rather be able to do that, when I'm able to do that, than to give people false hope. And fortunately for me, not much has happened. So the only chapter I really missed out on reviewing was the Kaido thing. I'll probably do a separate video talking about Kaido, and I'll probably do a second video talking about Luffy's fights so far, because there's no point in talking just about the Doflamingo fight. Everybody saw it, but I'll probably just go over Luffy's fights and maybe rank them or whatever. We'll see what happens. And now moving on to One Piece chapter 801. So as of chapter 800, it really seems like we should leave Dressrosa. We should, so worst case scenario, we will still be on Dressrosa, and if that's the case, the best thing Oda could do is we're not really in Dressrosa, we're more at, let's say, Greenbit, which is still Dressrosa, but you get what I'm saying. And so we maybe visit something concerning Noland or the 4th century. Maybe there's a poneglyph there or something, I don't know. But other than that, I really don't want to see us at Dressrosa in the next chapter. It could happen, it's Oda, maybe some garbage. Maybe he wants to see Luffy and Rebecca to have some kind of speech or some bullshit, I don't know. But worst case scenario, we're still in Dressrosa, and it's not on some poneglyph shit or some Noland, type of stuff. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, now this is interesting. I can't really say what the best case scenario is, but there are a number of possibilities that Oda can do in this next chapter. So let's assume we're not at Dressrosa, right? What this would imply is that Dressrosa is officially concluded, and we're at that point where we're in between sort of arcs or sagas. Well, we're still in the same saga. I think arcs is better. We're in the alliance saga where Luffy's forming alliances, increasing his pirate fleet and stuff like that with Law, and who knows which of the supernovas will join Luffy's side. But anyways, we're moving on to the next arc, which will most likely be Wano Kuni by the looks of things. We saw bonsai trees, which are Japanese, on that island where Sanji was at. Sanji fought a sheep dude, and I'm pretty sure it's a sheep dude because he said mutton shot, and mutton, that's lamb, and Oda and his foreshadowing type of nonsense. And the dude did have horns. I think he did have woolly kind of hair, but I can't quite remember. Anyways, I'm convinced those are Kaido's Zoan boys. I might be wrong, but I am convinced. And it seems like since Sanji's there and we have Kaido with Kid and them other dudes, there's a good chance Wano Kuni is the next arc. It's been implied for quite a while. Also, Boris Anime did a video before my hiatus, which basically said that by October this year, we would have Wano Kuni toys available. And if the toys are available, definitely the manga will be ahead of, the merchandise. So, again, Wano Kuni confirmed. It seems like, that wasn't some bullshit. And, yeah, things are looking pretty good. So, what was I at anyways? I was talking about, yeah, so if it's not Dressrosa, it's most likely going to be not Dressrosa, right? So we're in that period between Dressrosa and Wano Kuni. I don't think, based on history, I do not think Oda will jump straight to Wano Kuni. I think we will get something in between. So let's look at now this was more pronounced, or more, I guess you could say, fleshed out pre-time skip, but post-time skip is a little less clear. So pre-time skip, we would have stuff like in between arcs, we would see the Gorosei talking, or we would see, you know, Ace versus Blackbeard, stuff like that. Post-time skip, we've just had what we really haven't had that much. We just had like people talking within places we've already been, with the exception of that one Gorosei speech post-time skip. But that's like the only exception. But other than that, what we've seen is, you know, Doflamingo talking. This is in between Dressrosa and Punk Hazard. Jinbei telling Straw Hats what's been happening around the New World. This is at the end of Fishman Island, so you could say in between Fishman Island and Punk Hazard, you know. And so now we're going to get the next thing. Oh snap! This means that there's a good chance we will still be in Dressrosa. And what's going to happen is, okay, we might not be in Dressrosa, but we might still go back to Luffy and the fleet. What's going to happen is they'll have conversations about where they come from or what's going around in the New World, something along those lines. Otherwise, well, I mean, that's not really a bad thing, just that there's a good chance it's not going to be as hype as Oda showing us either Kaido or somewhere else in the New World. Now, like I said, post-time skip, Oda's been more localized with his, you know, transition chapters, you know, the transitions between the arcs. So I'm not too optimistic about us seeing, you know, Dragon or, you know, the Gorosei or anything crazy like that. We're more likely going to see somewhere that we've visited within the last, you know, 50 chapters. So the furthest we might see is, you know, Akainu. That's the furthest I might see. Otherwise, it's going to be Wano Kuni, or where Luffy and them boys are at. And yeah, that's pretty much my prediction for the next chapter. Worst case scenario, we're still in Dressrosa. Otherwise, we're going to have a nice transition chapter with an information dump. Or they'll take us back to the Kaido thing, but I'm not too optimistic about that. I think Oda might want to skip it, you know, just to sort of keep what Kaido's capable of under wraps. You know how Oda does things. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I look forward to making more videos. Like I said, I plan on doing videos on Kaido, Luffy's fights, and have some other stuff in the back of my head. But you know, I gotta shake the real stuff. You know, I gotta do the Harlem Shake and get back in shape for doing these videos. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for chilling all the way to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you guys for watching.